Hello, I'm Hare from the channel ahareoverahill, and today I'm talking about how I find inspiration for making characters. D&D characters, but it can be used in almost any situation. Any campaign, anyone who. Obviously, I love. Uh, this is aimed for newer players, but this can come a good funny one. Definitely if you're lacking inspiration. For more veteran to moderately experienced players, all of them, okay, let's build a character and then try to uh, build a character off that. But sometimes inspiration can come from anywhere. Let me give an example of each one individually. Um, I had a newer player, or he was returning after decades of wanting to play, and we were going through classes and whatnot, and this was in 5th edition, so yeah, was looking through things of like, how do I want to build this character? Oh, so over time, as we were going through, I had him more stats and everything, and he eventually came through everything, and like, as we were developing the character, he was playing a warlock who was very smart, and as he went through, he was finding that, oh, maybe he's a scholar, and we were going through these little points of, oh, he has a very high intelligence. I believe he was playing uh a high elf, and it was just like, huh, he's very intelligent. He's a warlock, so maybe he traded some of his, like, oh yeah, usually you're trading power for, well, you're trading some amount of agency to a patron for commonly power or something else. Maybe, and so it's like, oh, maybe I traded myself away and becoming one of his warlocks for more knowledge. Let's make him a scholar, and it was one of these like, from the mechanics and from his stats, he was developing. Oh, I have a very smart scholarly character who is wanting to develop that over time. Great. Um, Another time, mechanically I wanted to do something unique, and I got approval from my DM of being a falcon, an awakened falcon. Why did he? Why was he there? He wasn't even fully aware of why he was awakened. He just knew he was awakened one day with the knowledge that he needed to be explore the world, and over time try to find his place. And from that, he didn't fully understand. In a world where the gods were locked away, he didn't fully understand and his relations to his clerical powers that he had. He was a cleric. So from that, you can develop like, oh, oh, why, why am I an awakened bard? Why am I this? A perfect example is also Sam Riegel with his campaign to character Nod of a goblin. A lot more people did a wonderful analysis on this. Of, oh yeah, a friend just told me I should be a goblin rogue. Okay, let's build it up. Over the campaign, he discovered, hmm, maybe she's made of water. Why? And it's one of those things. But I'm talking about inspirations. Sometimes it can come from a friend, and how you roleplay it is sometimes coming from as you're building out the character. Then they can be, so you have from mechanics, but then you sometimes it can come from other situations. Like, take my little buddy here, my wonderful partner. Uh, their Etsy store is linked down below, and they make little goblins and little dragons like Francis. Excuse me. But for most of what I did, I said, hey, I want to make a character based off of a little goblin or something that you crochet for me. And So for my last birthday, they made this for me. And from this, I looked at, like, huh, let's try and make a character of this. And as time went on, I may not have actually played this character, but I have a perfect idea of how I want this new guy to be an NPC. Now, how did I develop? Where did I go with this character? So I looked at this little guy and went, hmm, Grogu. And it's like I realize now that that is Grogu is the little Yoda-like thing from The Mandalorian. I've never watched the show, but like, this is little Grogu. He's a little, let's say, hermit whose whole thing is that, and let's make him, like a little hermit guy out in the woods somewhere. He's like, oh, he's a hermit that lives out in the woods. Let's make him a druid. Like, oh, and his aesthetics made him walk. It's like a little hood and whatnot, and a little walking stick. Like that might be who's node and whatnot, and can probably be used as like their arcane focus or their druidic uh, focus. It's like, oh yeah, that's perfect. So as like, how do I want to develop this character? A little tubby guy that just like waddles around and whatnot. Like putting it down, I realize, oh, the legs are a little bit off, and of course they did. My partner did. Although the arms and head is articulate, the legs really aren't, and so I thought, this is a perfect idea. A little bit has a tad bit of a pouch, so it's like little Grogu waddles everywhere. He doesn't have a llama. He can move and whatnot, but he waddles. Has a weakness for sweets and whatnot. But he lives out in the woods, so he doesn't get a lot of it, but he lives out in the woods, living his life, being what he does. And he's a druid, so he knows nature. And then it's like, perfect idea. Let's take maybe where he lives is maybe something similar to Shrek's swamp. I took that general aesthetic, but took this like near Grogu lives in a large stump, and then it's like instead of a swampy area, I'm gonna replace it with a large garden surrounding it. And in this garden, it may look, from somebody who may not directly know, it looks wild, unkept. But to an observant eye, or somebody who really knows gardens, they recognize, oh, that's actually extremely well kept, and there's little, although there are walkways for larger creatures to walk through, there's clearly smaller apertures that are just big enough for somebody like Grogu to waddle into and go and pick things more easily. And as time went on, I was like, this is perfect. Little Grogu is a wise, sagely hermit who lives out in the woods, and a perfect mission that might involve him is a local doctor is having issues curing a local or pandemic that might be happening. Granted, not granted. I They made this little guy like back in 2021, so like somewhat near the end of in the middle near the end of the pandemic. Um, but it's like, well, that might be a perfect thing. A disease is ravishing, and it's like, I think this certain medicine might do it, but like a certain herb would definitely might cure things, but I don't have access to it. But I know somebody who does. But they are hermit living out in the woods somewhere. Yeah, out there. But it's too dangerous for somebody like me. You need to go out. Can you go out and Talk to little Grogu. Talk to this little hermit. He'll know what's going. Give him this letter or tell him what's happening. Maybe little Grogu doesn't know how to read, so please tell him what's going on. I'm meeting this plant. And it's like the party goes out and it's like, yeah. And they find little Grogu. And he'll only give thing. And the doctor might say, and give him this as payment. It's like, and if the party ever looks, it's a bag full of candy. Not, and then it's like, why is this candy? It's like, he's a hermit. He lives out in nature. Uh, he has no use for what we understand for God. So in this, I developed a character of just like, oh yeah, he is a medicine man who lives out in the woods, who appreciates nature, a great druid who's cultivated a great garden and a great forest that for most people is dangerous, but this unassuming little guy just wanders around, who has a love for sweets, and maybe too many sweets, but he's a caring individual. Maybe he's not the smartest person, but if you cross him, he might just shillelagh your kneecaps or transform into a giant bear. In which, like, a funny aspect that I developed over the time for this character is he wears a vest. My partner didn't make pants for him, but one of the funny things that I made for him was he poo bears everywhere. He wears his little vest and hood because he wants to cover his head. But pants, Grogu not believe in pants. Pants are civilization. Grogu be nice and wear pants when go into civilization, but Grogu no need pants. And so it's like, yeah, he walks around pantless. When the party encounters him, yep, maybe it's a sunny day. He's sitting out with some food next to him, and he's just hum, and eating away on some foods, completely butt ass naked, but wearing a leather vest. His leather vest. And this is how you can develop characters. It's looking at something and saying, I want to build a character around this. Let's try to diagnose of what I should try to make. Chubby character, maybe into sweets, maybe not. Uh, general look, maybe, like, oh, maybe this character would be a druid or a magical staff, maybe a wizard or a warlock. Staff, maybe a great wizard or a sorcerer who needs this Nord staff to have control of their magics. And there's a lot of ways that I took it. Could have taken a Goku here, but I decided Druid Hermit, who lives out in the woods, who likes nothing more than the occasional sweet thing. Maybe the occasion happens a little bit more than it should, but yeah. So this is how I develop inspirations. It's looking at mechanics and how can I describe this character? Or it's I want a I have a general idea. Let's try I have a general idea, maybe a clergyman, maybe a clergyman who worships the god of death. What does he look like? Is he a cleric? Maybe not. Or I look at something like this. It's like, how do I develop a character off this? How do I develop a character that might have a little dragon familiar? Uh, and so look at things, critically look at everything. Maybe you come up with a voice in the back of your head and think, I want to develop a character with this voice in mind. How do I want to portray them? How do I... Just start thinking, start writing, and develop it. So, as always, I'm ahareoverahill. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.